All right, grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I am Chief Sophia of the Americana Band of Indians, and this is going to be a video where I discuss a little bit of current um, activities, what's going on, and also a lot about um, what America's problem is, that it just refuses to give up, and where I believe all of this is heading. So I did a live stream. It was like 30 minutes. It will not upload. I believe that it is gone. There's no way I can get it. I can't even get the video from it. It's just spinning and spinning and spinning. And so that tells me that what I was discussing is totally against what they want to be out there. And so it doesn't matter because the warning was given, it was live. So even if there's no proof of it, it's literally it's already out there on the internet. So let's talk about this, what's happening in Texas. It's very it's not lost on me that a month ago, less than a month ago, a couple weeks ago, June 19th, we asked for them to acknowledge our Independence Day, right? And nobody acknowledged it. Not the federal government, not the White House, not the president. Nobody, okay? They tried to pretend like it didn't happen and whatever. And so now we have a situation in Texas where they're having once in a lifetime flooding. Let's talk a little bit about the camp, okay? So there was a camp there um, that tragically um, lost campers. Um, Raise your hand, of course, metaphorically, if you are able to ever go to a camp for a full month. I went for 1 week, one summer. So you're talking about a lot of money for these little girls. It was a girl camp to go for a whole month. Okay, so we know what income bracket we're not talking about. This camp was started in 1926, and it's an all-girls camp. And the camp is called Camp Mystic. And Camp Mystic, um, it's a Christian camp. Now, mystic, a mystic is an initiated one. Why would you call a camp a Christian camp? For initiated ones, um, Camp Mystic is that would be not for the initiated, right? Okay, so it's on this river called the Guadalupe River, which means something to deal with the wolf, which we already know the wolf is done. They admitted the wolf is done, so we know that's not the meaning we're looking for. However, um, another name for this river has to deal with hidden. It's a hidden river. That's another name for it. So we have a river that's a hidden river, okay, that is on the that has this camp on it, and apparently this area has about 40 camps. It's a very popular area for summer camps. Okay, most of the camps were out of session. Well, why would they be out of session? Well, it's 4th of July. Why would you be in session during the national holiday? So anyway, they have this camp. This camp is in session during a federal holiday. Um, it's about 700 girls there. And from what I understand, the campers that are still missing, which is about 23 campers missing, are all from the age groups of 7 and 8. They call them the bubbles or something. Bubble camp and bubble lodge, and I can't remember the other one. But these are little girls, age 7 and 8. Those are the youngest that are allowed in this particular um, camp. And the flash flooding started about 4 a.m. on the 4th of July. Basically, right as Neptune went retrograde, the waters were released. So, first of all, in my mind, all I can say is, Lord have mercy. No, no thoughts and prayers. Those cost. Number one. Number two, on our Independence Day, June 19th, they could not even be bothered to acknowledge us. And so I'm not even acknowledging this as an event, except to say this. It's not lost on me that it was Houston. Houston is about 250, maybe 300 miles um, away from where this camp is. And I looked at it on a map, so it's kind of hard to judge based on like the online maps. But I did look at it on a map. It's probably about 300 miles away from Houston, right? And Houston is where the whole Juneteenth thing started. And so it's no coincidence to me, surprise to me, that this happened, because you can't ignore our people and think that your country is just going to go on like normal. What I don't like is how the Democrats are hijacking this narrative to make it about them and about Trump. It's not about them. It's not about Trump. It's about this country and the people in this country. Now I didn't get into an argument, but I had to comment because one of these Ellis Island babies had the nerve to say there was no America before the Europeans showed up. And that was a bridge too far for me. You mean to tell me we didn't call ourselves Americans? We talked about this in the War of 1812 video and the Francis Scott Key. We did call ourselves Americans, but we were called Americans. Like, that was our actual name before they showed up here, because of Mary being our patron. So of course America was here before. Like, these people are ridiculous. And it just occurred to me, they literally have been in our energy, the native person from the land energy, so long. They believe it's their energy. And when you try to tell them, hey, this is not your energy, this is actually our energy, they don't understand that as a concept. They don't understand that as a possibility. They don't get it. They're very confused, because according to them, when they came here, one, no one was here because we're on vacation, and two, we were savages and we didn't have written language. They said we didn't have written language. What about Greek? Like, English is our native language. English is our native language. And besides all of that, nobody asked them for their version of a history of a land that doesn't belong to them. So soon I'll be launching our flag and our name. It's not quite ready yet. I'm working on that, but it's coming, because enough is enough with these people. And it's not me. I'm not. I didn't make the decision. I asked the Creator to come and judge us, and then I asked for them to free those angels that are over the Hoover Dam. Oh, maybe that part didn't come on here. Let's talk about the Hoover Dam for a minute. At the Hoover Dam, there are two angels that they have basically, from what we know and understand about magic, they have encapsulated these two entities and literally forced them to bound them to the land at the Hoover Dam in a ritual that they did on September the 30th, 1935. This will be year 90 on September the 30th. For almost 90 years, these angels have been sitting at this location, frozen in time. One of them is Baccus. Baccus is the god of wine, the vine, growing, and so forth. and the other one is Tychee. Tychee is the goddess of luck. We talked about her a long time ago. So they bound these angels in a seated position, a servant position, and they left their feet exposed. So what people do is when they go to the Hoover Dam, they stop and they rub their feet for good luck before they head into Vegas. It's grotesque, it's gross. And there's only one group of people who know how to do that type of magic, and it is the Professional Victims Unit. All of them. They're all from the same Ashkenaz background, okay? All of these gangsters, the one that I was talking about in my live stream is Bugsy Siegel, okay? That is the one who is been charged, at least in my subconscious, as Franklin to siphon, harvest, whatever, any type of wealth and abundance that comes from out of me so that I never get access to it. How do I know that? Because this guy, I call him Franklin, Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin had when he died horribly, he was shot by a sniper from through his window. He had a statue of the god Baccus in his house where he was at. They had a statue of Baccus, and it was 4 shots. 3 of them hit him in the head. One of them hit Baccus. So this all ties together. Like some stuff you don't even have to make up because the truth is the truth. Okay. So they put this guy, Ben Franklin, in our subconscious. So it hasn't been that long, just since 1930 when they did this ritual. He died in about 1945, so like 10 years later he died. So when they did this ritual to bind our angels, they took away our luck. And the reason why they had to do that is because all of these Ellis Island babies, they are all Professional Victims Unit blood, by blood. Okay? So that's who they sent here. Anyone who's an Ellis Island baby is a Professional Victim Unit by blood. Okay? These individuals, they ended up, and Ben Franklin was the one who brought them all together. The Italians, all of them from Western Europe, right? Because they don't like the Eastern Europeans. All of them from Western Europe. He brought all of them together so that they would all work together. But who were they working against? They were working against us, because no matter what they did, we always came out on top. We were the best gamblers. We were the best everything. They could not take us down. So what they did is they took our story and made it their story. We didn't come here on boats. They came here on boats. We didn't live in ghettos. They lived in ghettos. We weren't poor. They were poor. They took they took our entire story, which says what? We were the kings and the queens. Now they're the kings and the queens. The land responded to us. Now the land responds to them. They literally took our entire story and gave us their story. All of these gangsters, Corleone and all of them, they are all Professional Victims Unit by blood. Every last one of them. And it was a big secret. But now that you know, you can see, you can't not see it once you know. They were being put out of Europe by the native Europeans, and the only place they could go was here. That's not what happened to us. We literally came here. We were already here. So they didn't bring us here on boats. They came on boats. And a lot of people say that, but they can't explain when that happened and why they switched the story. Understanding who these people are makes the whole story make sense. And so because they came here, and they were the richest people in their land. So they came here with nothing, and yet they still lived in ghettos. They came here with all of their wealth, and yet they still lived in ghettos, and they still lived in filth, because these are dirty ass people. So what did they say? Oh, those Negroes are savages. They're dirty. Nah, bro. No, nah, player. Mm-mm. So when they decided to um, corner our angels, our guardians of this land, and put them on those pedestals, something that when we were doing the research, we said, okay, they have to be, their spirit has to be released. If they want to keep the statue there, we don't care about the statue. We want their energy released, and we asked for proof. You know me, I'm always asked for proof. We want proof that their energy has been released. Two things happened. One, there was a huge storm in Las Vegas. It was a windstorm, and it knocked down the poles and trees and all kinds of stuff in Vegas. They have never seen wind like this ever. The wind was so intense that it pulled the beams for the light post from out the ground. Now, if you don't know how these things are put in the ground, they put cement in the ground first, then they put the beam in, and then they put more cement. It is almost impossible for those things to be pulled out the ground. I live in Florida. When they have hurricanes here, even the light posts don't move. We don't have that many because they do electricity a little bit different here. But we don't, the ones that we do have, they don't fall over. I've never seen a fallen over light post. I mean, I haven't been here that long, but I do watch, I've never seen a fallen over light post. So for the light post to be uprooted and knocked over, that was one sign. That was the winds being released. Now we have the water being released. That Guadalupe River has been so dry. They literally, it's been dry so long. Let me rephrase this, because there's a North Guadalupe River and there's a South. The river splits off. Okay, that South Fork of the river has been dry so long that they normally shoot fireworks for the 4th of July from that location, and now the banks are overflowing. So we asked for proof that these two angels had been that they were released to do their thing, and they have been released. And so I say that to say this. When you see these people going through their difficult times, do not gloat. We're not celebrating over here the loss of life. I know that the Hebrew Israelites cannot help themselves, but I am begging my followers and my listeners, do not gloat. Do not celebrate death. We wanted everyone to learn the lesson without pain and suffering and without loss of life. That was the request. I cannot imagine what it would be like to lose my 7-year old daughter um, at a summer camp. Not even with me, somewhere that I paid for them to die, basically. That's not laughing matter. That's not something that you celebrate. You don't throw something on the grill for that, okay? And I haven't seen anybody doing that, but I'm just telling you, it's not getting better. This thing is only getting worse. On Monday, Uranus will enter Gemini, and it is going to move very fast from there. So I need everybody to keep your head on straight. Do not celebrate loss of life. Do not celebrate pain and suffering. We wanted everyone to come to the Creator. The whole point of this is that you would see how certain people are, and you would turn from your wickedness and cleave to the Creator. That is what we are asking for. And the absence of that, other things have to happen. There's other consequences that come for this kind of behavior. And so I'm only saying that because I know how our people are. I need y'all to keep y'all head on straight. I am grateful to know who it has been in my subconscious stealing all of my blessings. I'm glad to know that. And now I know that entity is gone and there's nothing he can do. There's no more, the debt has to be paid, and it has to be paid now. There's no more time to waste. And that is what our guardian angels are going to come and do for all of us. Not just our personal ones that have been locked up, but Baccus and Tychee. They are going to come and make sure everything is clear. They're released. We have proof from two coasts, okay? They're released. The wind and the water are they're flowing, okay? So let it flow. Again, refer back to my cancer video on the equinox. We know how we're supposed to be carrying ourselves during this time period. This is just a reminder because it's going to get really crazy really fast. It's also important for us to now start really thinking about what we're going to do with our extra time. Okay? Um, Everybody has a talent, everybody has a skill, everybody has something they love. There is going to come a time very soon where you're going to have time to do that. You don't want your day to be filled with nothing because then you lose the desire to live. Okay? Having a passion project maintains your desire to live. So you want to have something that you do that you love. And you want to do that, okay? What you don't want is to have nothing and get bored and then be like, okay, well, let me go start some trouble, or I'm ready to just leave. I've accomplished enough. No. So whatever that thing is that you really loved and you really wanted to do when you were young, 9 times out of 10, start there, and you might end up where you really want to be. And it's going to be important because they are going to have to release our people, and their people are going to have to go into bondage. The ones that live, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm telling you, get prepared for what you're going to do when you don't have to work, because it's going to manifest, okay? I also want people to, again, your family members and friends who don't quite understand what's going on, just be a consistent person for them. Whatever you guys have always done, just go back to doing it. The things that your family, the traditions that your family passed down, just restart them. And restart them as if you never stopped. It's going to be really important to provide some consistency within our own community of our own stuff, because that's what happened. 4th of July was a failure for them because they think that they got us to recontract, but what they don't understand is that Camp Mystic, was 99 years old. It didn't make it to 100 years without this kind of event. Okay, America is 249 years old. It's not going to make it to 250 in the status that it is. When Cat Williams came out last year and opened up that portal with his interview, it was over. They kind of sort of got away last year. Um, but remember, not like us dropped on 4th of July last year. That was it. They totally lost control of the narrative. They've been trying to get the narrative back ever since, and they have not been able to do it because we finally realized they're just not like us. Like it was like an awakening, a cultural awakening. I did a whole 2-hour video with a cultural reset. It was a cultural awakening. And so there's nothing that they can do. They don't have the ability to recontract with us. They don't have the ability to contract with nobody because they're not allowed to do commerce. The only commerce that's allowed to be done is on our behalf. And they're not doing anything on our behalf. That means that it's going to be over. It's done. There's no more America if you can't do commerce, and you can't do commerce. Again, if I haven't made a video, they're not allowed to do commerce. The only people allowed to do commerce are our people, and that's suspended indefinitely. So good luck with your trade deals or whatever you think you're doing, because they're all powered by magic. You bought these professional victims unit people over here, and you gave them all the top jobs and all the top industries, and all of that magic is done. And it's not, there was a gentle transition time, but again, you ignore us, we ignore you, and therefore your magic is done. So they're gonna have to come back to us and get us. But first of all, we have to be creative. They're literally using ideas that we had 100 years ago. They have no new ideas, and so in order to get some new ideas, they're gonna have to come to us. There's no question about it. We're the only people who's going to be given the answers to solve the problems. Now, there's a gentleman named Reggie Middleton. He has a crypto. I can't remember what it's called, but if you suddenly see Reggie Middleton's crypto kind of taking over, he is one of our people. Um, if you suddenly see it taking over, just know that that's their attempt to put one of our people in charge of something that we should have always been in charge of. They were never allowed to have money. Look at what Jesus did to the money changers. They were never allowed to have money. They were never allowed to change money. And so therefore, that's just all going to fall apart until they put our people in the midst of it. And they want us to surrender all of our wealth and abundance to them, but that's not going to be allowed either. Not with our guardian angels back. The land's not going to produce for them. We believe they are hiding the fact that the land is actually not producing for them at all. They're hiding it in sending these illegals back. But honestly, the land is not producing for them at all, whatsoever. Okay? The land will only produce for us. And we don't believe in mass produced food. That's not how we ever operated. I had a conversation with my dad, and I was asking him some questions about what things were like when he was growing up. And one thing I found out is that I was absolutely true when I told people that the only work that our people did was from the first of the year through October. That's it. And my dad told me that that's how they used to do. He said they got enough food or whatever, for a certain period of time. Where he's from, they did a lot of fishing. So they caught all their whatever, and it was a short period of time, September, October, November. And by November, they were done with all their fishing for the year. That was when it was the bartering system. When they commercialized it, then they tried to stretch it out and all of this stuff. The land, our Father, is not responding to them. They're calling him. He's not picking up the phone. He's only going to respond to us. He's only going to respond to us, his daughters first, the apple of his eye. The ones who have returned back to him saying, Father, please, take us back. We'll do right this time. He's going to forgive us 100 times. And these people who have cursed him, cursed his land, and made him look like a fool, not the same. Not the same people. They have an opportunity, but they don't get to stop. Keep everything and remember, we don't want their stuff. Whenever we went in, read your Bible, okay? Whenever our people went into a place that was filled with wicked people, we did not take their stuff. We piled all their stuff into a pile and we burned it. So you don't want their stuff. You don't want them, oh, take this. No, we don't want their stuff. You go to the store and buy new stuff. Don't take their stuff. Don't buy their stuff. You don't want their stuff because it has their energy and their pure wickedness. And so if you're buying their stuff and not going and getting new stuff, you're going to have a problem. Go get new stuff. Don't buy used stuff. Go get new stuff. They need to burn all the stuff that these people have. They are so wicked. Imagine building a camp on a river for all girls, performing a ritual so that their first menstrual cycles and whatever is all on that river. Taking all of that and using it to bind the land. Don't tell me about how righteous they are. They're wicked. Burn it. Don't take anything from these people. Burn it. Be nice, be cordial. If you must take it and burn it. Don't give it to someone else. That's another thing. People are like, oh, well, I'll just no. Burn it. If you're going to give somebody something, give them something new. Give them something fresh. Give them something with your energy. Do not buy their used stuff and then give it away, to burn it. You have to, only thing you can keep of theirs is the money, because that's what they did. They kept the money, they kept the bronze and the silver and the gold, and sent it into the house of God. But their stuff, their actual personal items, burn. And that's why you find so many ruins, because when we got to a new place, if the people there were wicked, and you could tell by the temples they had if they was righteous or if they was wicked, they were wicked, we burned it. We just burned everything. It was like, let's keep moving. But we're not going to leave this place, with this wicked stuff, these cursed items. We destroyed the cursed items wherever we went. So I'm begging you, burn their stuff. If you have to buy a used house, right, make sure it was built like in the 70s. Don't buy one of these new used houses. Buy an old used house, because 9 times out of 10, those was our houses. Our houses are the only ones that last. Their houses don't last. They don't at all. They always, something always happens to them. So if you, I'm looking at a house that was built in the 1800s. No lie. Buy an old house. It's gonna be beautiful. 70s, 60s would be better. In Florida, we have a lot of houses built in the 60s. So look at the 60s is good. Or just get a new house built. And don't worry, don't worry about that. Move into a new house if you have to move or whatever. Don't buy one of these 80s, 90s houses. They figured out how to curse everything. We talked about the cycles. It's just really important that people take this seriously, because like I said, when Uranus moves into Gemini, it's going to be a lot of shock and awe. It's going to be really fast, and it's going to be really there's going to be a strong pressure on you to give away your gifts. And again, we don't pray for free. We don't pray for anybody anyway. We're not praying for them even if they pay us. It's too late. That the time for that is over. We're just going to take our money and go live our life and ignore them. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else to say. I hope that makes sense. Just trying to make sure there's nothing else I wanted to say. I think that's all. That's good enough. I hope this meets you all well. I'm not going to be able to do a Capricorn video. I'm gonna work on the Leo new moon video. If you are interested in a Leo new moon bundle or Virgo new moon bundle, please let me know. They're $50. Send me an email. I'm working on the website. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and I actually had to stop documenting the different things that were going on, and I'm not going to be doing that because I don't want to keep track with their system. We are, even though I was doing it, I love to comment on the news and whatnot, I can't do it because this country decided that black people didn't matter. Even though we were the glue holding everything together, they pretended like we weren't the glue and that they are the actual glue. Like they are the chosen ones. And I don't know what to say about that. If you are from the land, let the land respond to you. It doesn't look like it's responding very well, but everything that I see is like the land is responding to us. So I'm not really sure what to make of that. So that's why I don't do the don't miss it anymore. I gave up on all of that. It's not like I gave up. It's just it doesn't make any sense because I don't even need their history to figure out what's going on. Before it was helpful to sync everything up, but now everything is we're pretty much synced in. What I will say, I forgot about this. We are in a galactic portal. This is why I'm not going to be able to get the what's the name done. We're in a galactic portal. The portal closes on Tuesday when we have the full moon in Capricorn. That's the last day of the galactic portal. The 1 minute videos you've been seeing on my channel, that is the energy for that day. People who know how I used to do short videos know this, but some people don't. So I just want to make it clear. That is the energy for the day. What these galactic portals are doing is giving us the opportunity. We are syncing with the galactic energy that's coming in. And since nobody's calendar is right, it doesn't make sense to anyone else. But I have the correct calendar. And so we are syncing into that energy. There's 10 days. First, we have the 10 days of light. Then we have the 20 days that is the mystic column of the Zolkin cycle, and then, or the Jubilee cycle. Then we have the 10 days of darkness. Okay, this 10 days of light has been extremely intense energetically for me. The mystic column, I don't know what that's even going to bring. And the 10 days of darkness, if this is the light, I can't imagine what the darkness is. And so this is all about calibrating our energy with the galactic energy, with the intergalactic energy, not the outer galactic energy, right? Not the stars. We're already in sync with the star time. Now we're getting in sync with the intergalactic, because the inside of this planet is just as expansive as the outside. People don't really believe that, but I do. And so we're now syncing with the land and the water. And that's what the Zolkin calendar is for. Synchronizing with the land and the water, with the physical earth. And that's what we're doing. And of course, nobody would understand this because they don't understand the energy, because they're not from the land. Only someone who is from the land or is grafted into the land will understand this. These people are not from the land, and if they were grafted in, their branches was ripped off. They're no longer grafted in. They believe they was better than the ones that was from the land. And we never did that. We don't act like that. Oh, let me talk about the commerce thing too. I made a comment in this conversation I had with my dad that talking about why all this stuff is falling apart. And he asked me why. And I was like, because he said, well, what I said to him was, well, the whole world was surviving off the money of America. And he said, well, why is that? And I said, because nowhere else in the world do they have black people. They don't have black Americans anywhere else in the world. They don't. And he said, well, why does that matter? I said, because our people are the only ones righteous enough to do commerce. Because if we have an excess of money, we're not going to use it to kill people. The reason why black people are killing people is over money. It's a lack of resources. If we had adequate resources to take care of, we would be partying, just like you see us do. We would be celebrating. We would be building beautiful things. We would be creating. When black people have resources, we create. And when the professional victims unit get resources, they hoard it and they use it to fight other people. This is how you know who is who. Who gets money and share. I just saw something, man, I can't believe this. I just saw something that said Scottie Pippen gives away like the majority of his money. They said he bought a house for every one of his siblings, a whole house. They don't have to pay no mortgage. They got it straight. He gives away. He does like over 100 scholarships a year. He has a summer camp. He has a fund that they give money to basketball players that are not doing so well, like they have medical bills and stuff like that. Him and a bunch of them, they put their money together to help him. He gives away most of it. They said in the video he didn't have enough money to buy a Corolla. I was like, oh my gosh, why is that? But it's because all the money that he makes, he gives it away. That's what our people do with extra. I'm sure he's worth millions of dollars, right? He does a lot of different stuff. It's not like he's a very good businessman, but he turns around and he donates all his money. That's what our people would do. But see, what they want us to do is give away the money and not live the lifestyle. Nobody has a problem with giving away the money. But y'all know, you can see somebody on the corner. You know you got $2 to your name. Because they stayed on the corner, you going to take out one of them $2 and give it to them. That's how black people are. But what they want to do is stand on the corner and beg for money, knowing that they have a 5 bedroom house to go back to with 2 luxury vehicles, and they're still standing on the corner asking for money. Meanwhile, I have $2 to my name, and you'll take both of my last $2 and go back to your big house. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So, like I've been saying about the boomers, they're going to have to eat their money. These professional victims unit are going to have to eat their money. Let's see how much money it costs to bring your child back who was floating down a river. Not being rude, just making a statement. Because they think money can solve all problems. How much money is it going to cost to bring your dead child back that's floating down a river? How much money is that? Because it would not be worth it to me. And that's what our people did. We have been so anti fighting with them that we literally just sat back and said, y'all got it. I actually said this to somebody. Like, if you want to do it, that's fine. If you're not going to do it, then I'll do it. But if you want to do it, I'm not arguing nobody over who's doing something. It's cool. Do what you want. And wherever you can't get it done, I'll get it done. But see, they're acting like they don't need us. Okay. Prove it. Prevent the earthquake that's coming. Prevent it. Prevent the tsunami that's coming. Prevent that. With all of your money and all of your wealth and all your abundance, prevent it. You don't need us. Prevent it. And if your God with all the resources that your God has can prevent it, again, like I have said previously, if our God is not the creator, if our God is not the God of this land, if our mother is not the waters of this land, then we need to be worshiping their God. So now that is a challenge to our creator. Let them, if their God is superior, prevent the 9.2 earthquake that's coming in the next 2 days. Let them prevent it. Let them prevent the tsunami that's coming with the 9.2 earthquake. Okay? And if their God prevents it, then their God is the God we worship. And if their God can't prevent it, then our God is the God we worship. Just do it. It needs to be done. It needs to be proven, and it needs to be done. Just remember, you good, right? You worship the Creator in spirit and in truth. So you're good. Don't worry. It's not us who needs to worry. I'm not worried. What I am is annoyed that they keep trying to convince us to do things that we don't want to do. And say, oh, well, if your God is who he says he is, then he'll do X, Y, and Z. That's not how it works. You don't get to challenge our God. We get to challenge our God because we want proof. We wanted proof that those spirits was free. We got the proof. I want the proof that their God can prevent this earthquake. Let's see what happens. I think this is not going to be such a good summer for them. Because all summer, that's what we're going to do. We're going to ask our God to prove himself. And not because he can't. And not because he can. But because we have to. In order to give these people an opportunity to repent, they've got to see who's in charge. And right now, they think it's them. They think that they are the ones who can call on the land. And the land will respond. And that has to be, that delusion, Neptune is in retrograde, that delusion must be broken during this retrograde. And so that means every time we see a little something going on, we're like, well, where they got it? How many little black girls was floating down the river this time? Because in the previous times, it was us. Every previous time, it was us. So, how many little black girls floating down the river of a 1 month camp that I could never afford for my child, for my daughter right now? I wanted to send her to a 1 week camp and I couldn't pull the money together. So, you're going to pay us. You're going to allow us to do our commerce the way that we agreed originally. And you're going to smile and say thank you. Because the option is we can ask the creator, if our creator is the creator, he should take away everyone off this land who does not worship him. Totally. We haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure we will. Right now, we're just saying, if our creator is the creator, let him allow this 9.2 earthquake to come and the tsunamis. And if your creator, if your God is the creator, let him prevent the 9.2 earthquake with the tsunamis. And let's just do a little test to see what happens. So, shalom, peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.